Hampi, the finest historical sites in the world with its splendid landscape, is located in the newly formed Vijayanagara district of Karnataka. Hampi, once the capital city of the mighty Vijayanagara Empire, sits in a valley, bounded by the rivers and girdled by a staggering mass of bouldered granite. UNESCO declared it as a World Heritage Center, the most beautiful and evocative of all ruins in Karnataka. The erstwhile capital of the Vijayanagara Empire boasts of some exquisite examples of temple architecture of that period. Hampi predates Vijayanagara Empire. It finds a reference in the Ramayana as Kishkinda, the Vanara or monkey kingdom.
Hampi is surrounded by 7 hills: Anjanadri, Kishkinda, Matanga, Malayavanta, Hemakuta, Rushyamukha and Ratnakuta.
In the early 14th century, Peninsular India was invaded by the armies of the Delhi Sultanate. According to tradition and epigraphic evidence, 2 brothers, Harihara and Bukka, rose against the marauding forces of the sultans and founded the Vijayanagara Empire in the year 1336. The 2 brothers from the Sangama dynasty, 1336 to 1486. Over the years, the Vijayanagara Empire prospered and brought the whole of southern India under its control. In its heyday, it stretched from the river Krishna in the north to the extreme south of the Indian peninsula and to both the coastal regions of the east and west. The imperial magnificence of the Vijayanagara Empire, perhaps the lost magnificent chapter in the history of independent India, is the history of Vijayanagara, ruled by 4 dynasties: the Sangama dynasty, Saluva dynasty, Tuluva dynasty and Aravidu dynasty. Many foreign travelers endow with significant information regarding the economic, cultural, political and social life of the empire. The first European visitor to Vijayanagara, Niccolo Conti, 1421 to 22, gives a vivid account of the city of Vijayanagara, its court, customs, currency, festivals and other matters. Abdul Razak says, "The city of Vijayanagara is such that the pupil of the eye has never seen a place like it, and the ear of intelligence has never been informed that there existed anything equal to it in the world." The Varaha, the boar, an avatar of Lord Vishnu, was the Rajalanchana or state emblem of the Vijayanagara Empire. Just above the head of the boar, the moon image in the form of a crescent and dagger. The most popular ruler of the erstwhile Vijayanagara Empire, Krishnadevaraya, was the 3rd ruler of the Tuluva dynasty. Krishnadevaraya was born to Nagala Devi and to Tuluva Barasanayaka. He ascended the throne in 1509. He was crowned during the turbulent times and spent the first few years of his reign battling and in different conquests to consolidate the kingdom. Known as a successful soldier and a very good administrator, Krishnadevaraya was an ambitious king. Krishnadevaraya encouraged literature, music, art, architecture and other cultural forms.
Sangeeta Sahitya Sangeeta Sahitya Nritya Shilpadi Kalalaku Shri Krishna Raya Bhupa.
Krishnadevaraya was proficient in Sanskrit, Kannada and Telugu, and a work of poetry called Amukta in Telugu. Rare qualities of Krishnadevaraya inspired the coinage of many epithets to praise him. Vyasaraya, Purandaradasa and Kanakadasa lived in his time.
नवरत्न खचित सिंहासन दीप नवरत्न खचित सिंहासन दीप श्री कृष्ण राय भूप.
Hampi in the Deccan Plateau, located strategically on the banks of river Tungabhadra and surrounded by rocky hill ranges, also aptly called the city carved in stone, is an outstanding location of natural landscape and archaeological remains. The ruins of Hampi lie scattered in an approximately 26 square kilometer area. The structures at Hampi consist of defense, religious and secular architecture.
Sasvekalu Ganesha. Sasvekalu Ganesha, located on the southern side of Hemakutta Hill, is a four-handed giant statue of Ganesha. The monolith statue, carved out of a huge boulder, measures about 2.4 meters in height. An open pavilion is built around the statue. According to the inscriptions found, this was built by a trader who dealt in the trade of sesame, called as Sasvekalu in Kannada, and hence the name Sasvekalu Ganesha. This was built in the year 1506 AD in memory of the Vijayanagara king Narasimha II.
Talarigatta Gate was one of the main entrance points into the urban center of the capital from the riverside. This largely damaged structure still maintains its original intent, a gateway on the main road. It is possible to reach the top area of this gateway. From the top, traces of the extending fortifications are visible.
Virupaksha Temple. The oldest shrine, still in active worship, the Virupaksha temple is consecrated to Lord Shiva as the consort of Pampa. The Sangama dynasty transformed the shrine into a major religious monument. The Tuluvas greatly extended Virupaksha temple. This temple has three towers. The bigger one on the eastern tower rises to a height of 160 feet and is 9-tiered. It dates back to the first half of the 15th century and was renovated in the 16th century by Krishnadevaraya. The inner prakara consists of shrines and pillars dating back to the 12th century. The presiding deity here is Virupakshishwara or Pampapati. Achyutaraya Temple. The steps near the Nandi at the east of Hampi Bazaar leads to the Achyutaraya Temple. Achyutaraya Temple was built by Tirumala Deva, an officer under the king Achyutaraya. The temple is exemplarily constructed in a distinct style of architectural and sculptural art of the Vijayanagara Empire in 1534. The temple complex and the market, which is in ruins, sits in a semi-made valley. Between two rectangular concentric courtyards is the main shrine dedicated to Lord Vishnu. Vijaya Vittala Temple. Situated northeast of Hampi, close to the market, it leads to the most extravagant architecture with exceptional craftsmanship, the sprawling campus of the Vijaya Vittala Temple. The main entrance is through the Gopuram in the eastern side. Vijaya Vittala Temple in the UNESCO World Heritage Site listing describes the temple is indeed in many ways the zenith of the architectural splendor of Hampi. The Kalyana Mandapa is an open pillared symmetrical mandapa with recessed sides. It is raised on a platform with bas-relief sculptures of ornate designs and a series of elephants and people.
Stone chariot. In the army of exquisite beautiful sights that Hampi has to offer and depicts Karnataka tourism, an icon itself, is the stone chariot or Kallina Ratha as called in Kannada. An iconic monument located in front of Vijaya Vittala temple, Stone Chariot is a shrine dedicated to Garuda, the official vehicle of Lord Vishnu. Stone Chariot at Hampi is among the three most popular chariots, other being in Konark, Orissa and Mahabalipuram.
Rangamandapa. The Rangamandapa is in front of the Vittala temple. Though partially damaged, it is still awe-inspiring. The Rangamandapa is a huge pavilion whose roof is supported by massive columns, which themselves are made up of a cluster of slender pillars. These columns or monolith pillars have been carved out of single granite blocks and shows the amount of creativity and art utilized. The creation of the Vijaya Vittala temple is beyond comparison of words themselves. Unmatched craftsmanship, the beautiful dancing girls, carving of birds and animals built into the stone almost comes to life under the touches of one's hand. The entire mandapa has 56 pillars of composite nature, and each one appears to be an independent monument like a dying Gothic monster. The columns rise from massive pedestals and scream upwards into grotesque brackets of enormous proportion.
Can music be played from rocks? The answer is here. It turns out that ancient Indian architects were so obsessed by the idea that they ended up by creating a stone temple whose columns produce musical sounds when tapped. What's even more astonishing is that almost every pillar of the temple resonates a different sound. The pillars produce musical tones of tabla, mridanga, veena, damaru, ghatam, bells and conch shells when stuck with the thumb. Lakshmi Narasimha Temple. At midway of the main road, an unpaved path leads to Lakshmi Narasimha statue. The Lakshmi Narasimha statue is one of the most imposing sculptures found in the ruined town of Hampi. The gigantic monolithic statue and the temple housing the statue were built in the year 1528 AD. It was first constructed by Krishna Bhatt during the rule of Krishna Devaraya. The rare 6.7 meter size statue, crafted with great details, has a finely chiseled broad chest. The sculpture portrays Narasimha sitting on the coils of Adishesha, the king of all snakes, which raises behind him with its 7 hoods. It has a lion mask set above the hoods of the Adishesha. The hoods have been beautifully designed to serve as a canopy. Adjacent to the statue of Narasimha is a small stone chamber with a single opening with no ceiling. Inside is the Shivalinga, constantly immersed in a waterbed. The beautiful monolithic linga of 3 meters height is made of black stone.
The Lotus Mahal. The Lotus Mahal is symmetrical in layout with equal projections on 4 sides. It has 2 stories, both with lobed openings in multiple planes, surrounded by elaborate plaster designs.
Elephant stable. Placed within a short distance of Chandana enclosure, situated in an easily accessible area, is the Gajasale or elephant stable. The elephant stable is one of the finest examples of Indo-Islamic style of architecture. It is a long building within rectangular shape.
Mahanavami Dibba, Hindi royal enclosure site with full of ruined structures. One of the most eye-catching monuments is the Mahanavami Dibba, the stone platform in 3 tiers, about 12 meter high with its massive base measuring 35 square meters. It was meant for the Vijayanagara monarch to watch the ceremonial parades during the festival, especially the famous Mahanavami festival, during which the pomp and wealth of the empire was displayed. Stone doors. Located near the Mahanavami Dibba platform in the royal enclosure, one of the prominent remnants of the Vijayanagara period, the remarkable stone doors of around 4 feet by 15 feet height, exquisitely carved out of a single piece of stone, having door bolts and pivot shafts.
Pushkarni or stepped tank. The stepped tank or Pushkarni, made up of green diorite stone with no drain facility, was filled with what is called as the aqueducts. The aqueducts, discovered while digging the ground by the archaeologist, led to the discovery of the tank in the year 1985. The stepped tank is constructed using finely finished blocks of black schist stones. The chain of aqueducts that were used to bring water to fill the tank is evident from the remains, which serves as a reminder of the water wisdom of the Vijayanagara rulers.
Queen's Bath. Located close to the royal enclosure is the Queen's Bath, a colossal bath that exemplifies the architectural excellence prevalent during the days of the Vijayanagara Empire. believed to be constructed by Achyutaraya for the women of the royal family. Though named as the Queen's Bath, it was in all probability used as a private bathing chamber. The Queen's Bath is an elaborate structure with a simple exterior and ornate interior built in the Indo-Islamic style of architecture. The rectangular building has an area of 30 square meters. The bath is surrounded by beautiful arched corridors, having pillars and projecting ornate balconies with windows.
Anjanadri Hills. Located at a distance of about 5 kilometers from the historical site of Hampi, surrounded by lovely plantain and paddy fields, is the Anjanadri Hills or Anjani Parvat. Considered to be the site of the monkey kingdom Kishkinda mentioned in the epic Ramayana, it is believed that Lord Hanuman was born at this place. View from the hilltop is marvelous. The rugged Rocky Mountains, the mighty Tungabhadra River, and the patches of paddy fields look like a solved jigsaw puzzle.
Tungabhadra River. The river Tungabhadra, a holy river in the southern Indian peninsula that flows from Karnataka to Andhra Pradesh, was earlier known by the name Pampa. Owing to the rocky terrain, the river takes a number of twists and turns. It has immense significance in forming the political and religious history of Hampi. Along with the boulders, it prevented invading armies to cross the river, leading them to sure defeat. On the banks of the river are numerous shrines and idols.
Battle of Talikota or Rakkasatangadagi. In the year 1565 AD, an intense battle was fought between the forces of Aliya Ramaraya, the son-in-law of Krishna Devaraya, and that of the Deccan Sultanates, Bijapur, Bidar, Ahmednagar, Golconda, and Berar Sultanates. The Battle of Talikota was a decisive battle in the history of Vijayanagara Empire, which was fought between the villages of Rakkasagi and Tangadagi near Talikota. Hence, it was called the Battle of Talikota or Rakkasatangadagi.
Aliya Ramaraya, though old, mobilized a huge force that included war elephants, horses, and foot soldiers. The battle seems to have been decided by the Muslim artillery, which were manned by mercenary gunners from Turkestan, who were the best at artillery warfare, and the betrayal of two commanders, the Gilani brothers of the Vijayanagara army, at a key point. Aliya Ramaraya was not intimidated, however. He advanced, sitting in a palanquin carried by the foot soldiers, yelling orders to his army and throwing bounties to the brave soldiers.
Unfortunately, an elephant belonging to the Nizam Shahi became wild and dashed towards the palanquin bearers. Before he could recover, he was bound by ropes and taken to the Nizam Shahi camp, and finally he was beheaded. His severed head, attached to a spear, was taken for a stroll along the battleground.
Tirumala Deva, seeing the rout, fled to Vijayanagara, and taking up the treasury on elephants, he fled south towards Penukonda. The Nizam Shahi troops entered the city. looted, plundered, and destroyed the city. The glory that was scripted by the tapas of Maharshi Vidyaranya and ably executed by the intrepid gallantry of Harihara Bukka and the glorious regime of Krishna Devaraya collapsed, which was swift, sudden, and total. The period of Vijayanagara Empire is considered an age of prosperity. Vijayanagara Empire created an epoch in South Indian history that transcended regionalism by promoting Hinduism as a unifying factor. Religious tolerance was shown towards everyone. Muslims were also employed in the administration. The king enjoyed absolute authority in executive, judicial, and legislative matters. The army was well organized and efficient. The Vijayanagara Empire was one of the wealthiest parts of the world, and it was a great center for trade. The temple building activity further gained momentum during the Vijayanagara rule. The chief characteristics of the Vijayanagara architecture were the construction of the tall Raya Gopurams or gateways and the Kalyana Mantapas. Hampi, this amazing piece of history, which still braves the hot dry winds that sweep across the river Tungabhadra, still stands strong today, although much of it is in ruins. The empire is long gone, its relics scattered across a breathtaking boulder-strewn landscape, desolate ruins, but Hampi stones, those chiseled by man into intricate divine forms, as well as those worn smooth by the elements, whisper stories. And it is the stories that imbue these ruins with magic that appears to have left as much an imprint on our subconscious mind. The beauty of the grand civilization would never really fade away.
Hampi definitely will mesmerize to make you discover and rediscover your many selves and live out to liberate your mind, energize your body, set your spirit on fire and inspire your soul. These peerless wonders are eloquent reminder of rich heritage. Nowhere else can one find such a profusion of monuments in Hampi. A visit to Hampi is a journey into the past.